If nothing changes in your life in 2026, it won't be because you didn't know what to do. It will be because you refuse to let something go. Let me tell you something most people won't tell you. You don't need more motivation. You don't need another plan. You don't need another year to figure it out. What you need is courage, because the hardest part of growth is not starting, it's cutting. Cutting habits that feel familiar, cutting people you've outgrown, cutting versions of yourself that once protected you but now imprison you. Some of what you're holding on to is not sentimental. It's survival from an old season, and that season is over. If you walk into 2026 carrying the same weight you carried into 2025, you are not being loyal. You are being afraid. Tonight isn't about adding more to your life. It's about deciding what ends now so your future can finally begin. Let's talk about the 9 things you must cut before they cut your potential first. Let me start with this truth. Your breakthrough is not hiding in what you need to add. It's buried under what you need to remove. Most people don't fail because they lack potential. They fail because they refuse to cut what's killing their momentum. 2026 does not require a new version of you. It requires a lighter version of you. So today, I'm going to show you 9 things you must cut, not reduce, not manage, not tolerate, cut. 1, cut excuses that sound intelligent. An excuse is a lie. You tell yourself to avoid discomfort. I'm busy, I'm still learning, it's not the right time. If it explains why you didn't move forward, it's costing you your future. Successful people don't have better circumstances. They have higher responsibility. Cut the excuses. 2, cut low-value conversations. If every conversation you're in is about other people, old problems, or things you can't control, you are rehearsing failure daily. High performers talk about ideas, execution, leverage, and results. Your mouth is either programming progress or poverty. Choose wisely. 3, cut emotional decision-making. Feelings are great servants, terrible leaders. If you only work when you feel like it, you'll never build anything worth having. Discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want now. 2026 belongs to people who execute even when emotions disagree. 4, cut access to you without alignment. Not everyone deserves your time, energy, or attention. If someone drains you, disrespects your goals, or mocks your discipline, they are not just being real, they are being expensive. Every yes you give costs you something. Start charging more. 5, cut consumption without creation. If you consume more than you create, you will always admire what others build. Endless scrolling is silent theft. Before you watch another video, ask, what am I producing today? Creators control outcomes. Consumers react to them. 6, cut playing small to stay comfortable. You cannot build a big life with small commitments. Comfort is a seductive trap. It feels safe while quietly stealing your potential. Growth always requires discomfort first, confidence later. If it doesn't stretch you, it won't change you. 7, cut negative self-talk disguised as humility. I'm not that smart. I'm not a leader. That's just not me. That's not humility. That's self-sabotage. Your words shape your identity. Your identity determines your income, impact, and influence. Speak like the future you is listening. 8, cut waiting for permission. No one is coming to tap you on the shoulder and say, now it's your turn. Permission is not given. It's taken through action. Start before you're ready. Move before you're confident. Momentum creates clarity. 9, cut the belief that you have time. Time is not abundant. It's a sign. You don't get unlimited years. You get limited days. Urgency is not pressure. It's respect for your potential. 2026 rewards people who act now, not someday. Your next level is not blocked by what you lack. It's blocked by what you refuse to let go of. Cut the weight, cut the noise, cut the excuses. And when you do, you won't need motivation. Momentum will find you. Most people don't realize this, but life is always charging you a price. Every habit, every relationship, every commitment, every distraction. Nothing is free. The real question is not, do I like this? The real question is, what is this costing me? And is the return worth it? Because some things don't look expensive at first. They don't scream danger. They feel normal. comfortable, familiar, but quietly, day after day, they are draining your most valuable currencies, your time, your energy, your focus, your confidence, your belief in yourself. If something costs you 8 hours of distraction, pays you 10 minutes of comfort, that is a bad deal. If something costs you peace of mind and pays you temporary pleasure, that is a bad deal. If something costs you your future and pays you validation today, that is a terrible deal. Here's the hard truth. Just because something feels good doesn't mean it's good for you. And just because something is familiar doesn't mean it's valuable. There are people who cost you clarity. After every conversation, you feel heavier, smaller, more confused than before. They don't push you forward. They pull you back into old versions of yourself you already outgrew. The price you're paying is momentum, and momentum is priceless. There are habits that cost you discipline. You tell yourself it's just a break, just this once, just to relax. But breaks that never end become lifestyles, and lifestyles determine outcomes. The cost isn't the habit itself. It's the identity it slowly builds. There are commitments that cost you focus. You said yes out of guilt, fear, or obligation. Now your attention is divided, your execution is sloppy, and your results are average. Focus doesn't disappear by accident. It gets sold cheaply. And here's the most dangerous cost of all. Some things cost you belief in yourself. Every time you tolerate what you know you should cut, a small voice inside you gets quieter. The voice that says, you were meant for more. Ignore that voice long enough, and you stop trusting yourself entirely. The truth is, successful people aren't smarter. They're stricter. They audit their lives constantly. They ask uncomfortable questions. They don't just look at what something gives them. They calculate what it takes, because anything that consistently takes more than it gives is not neutral, it's negative. And negatives compound. You don't need to cut everything. You need to cut what overcharges you. Cut what steals hours, but gives excuses. Cut what numbs you instead of sharpening you. Cut what keeps you busy, but not productive. Cut what feels safe, but keeps you stuck. And understand this, cutting is not loss, it's leverage. When you remove what drains you, energy returns. When you remove what distracts you, focus multiplies. When you remove what doubts you, confidence grows. Your life will not change by what you add first. It will change by what you have the courage to remove. So before you ask, what should I do next? Ask this instead, what is costing me more than it's paying me, and why am I still keeping it? Because the moment you stop making bad deals with your life is the moment your future finally gets a fair chance. We've been taught to believe that the answer to every problem is more effort, more hours, more grind, more hustle. But here's the truth. Most people never figure out hustle doesn't fix distraction. It hides it. You don't need more energy. You need fewer leaks, because you can work all day and still move nowhere if your focus is split in 10 directions. Motion is not progress. Being busy is not being effective. Your future doesn't collapse because you didn't work hard enough. It collapses because your attention was constantly hijacked. Every notification is a withdrawal. Every unnecessary meeting is a tax. Every random task you accept without alignment steals a piece of your vision. And the scary part, distraction feels productive. You answer messages, you attend calls, you handle urgent things. At the end of the day, you're exhausted, but nothing meaningful moved forward. That's not laziness. That's misdirected discipline. High-level results don't come from doing more things. They come from doing fewer things longer, deeper, and better. Focus is a force multiplier. 1 clear hour of focused execution beats 10 hours of scattered hustle. But distraction is seductive. It gives you the illusion of importance. It makes you feel needed. It keeps you reacting instead of creating. And reaction is expensive. Every time you allow your day to be dictated by interruptions, you surrender control of you. Future to randomness. Your calendar becomes a to-do list for other people's priorities. The most dangerous distraction is the one you justify. I have to be available. I don't want to miss opportunities. I'll focus later. Later rarely comes. The people who win don't have fewer responsibilities. They have stronger filters. They decide in advance what matters and aggressively eliminate everything else. They protect deep work like it's oxygen, because it is. Hustle says, do more. Wisdom says, do what matters. Your future isn't built in chaos. It's built in quiet, focused moments where your full attention meets your highest skill. That's why scattered effort produces average results, no matter how intense it feels. You don't need to wake up earlier and sleep later. You need to stop letting distractions rent space in your mind for free. Your phone doesn't need more discipline. It needs boundaries. Your schedule doesn't need more tasks. It needs subtraction. Your goals don't need more motivation. They need protected focus. When you remove distractions, hustle becomes optional. Momentum replaces force. Clarity replaces exhaustion. The most powerful people are not the most frantic. They're the most deliberate. They understand that attention is the new currency, and whoever controls it controls outcomes. So if you want a better future, don't ask, how can I work harder? Ask, what am I allowing to interrupt what actually matters? Because when you see UT distractions, your effort finally compounds, and your future stops demanding hustle and starts responding to focus. Most people don't fail because they lack ability. They fail because they lie to themselves in ways that feel reasonable. Not loud lies, not obvious lies, quiet ones, the kind that sound responsible, the kind that sound patient, the kind that protect your comfort while quietly delaying your growth. Real growth begins the moment you stop negotiating with reality. Ruthless honesty is not about being harsh, it's about being accurate. It's about telling yourself the truth even when the truth bruises your ego, because you can't change what you keep defending. Every time you say, that's just how I am, you lock yourself in place. Every time you say, I'll do it when I'm ready, you give fear a microphone. Every time you blame circumstances, you give away power you can never get back. Honesty asks better questions. Why am I really avoiding this? Is this truly impossible or just uncomfortable? Am I tired or am I undisciplined? Am I patient or am I scared? Most people don't want answers. They want relief. And relief feels like justification, but justification is expensive. It delays feedback. It dulls awareness. It keeps you repeating the same year with a different calendar. Ruthless honesty forces you to confront patterns instead of stories. You start noticing that it's not that you don't have time. It's that you give time to things that require no courage. It's not that you lack confidence. It's that you avoid reps that would build it. It's not that opportunities aren't available. It's that you haven't prepared to recognize them. The truth stings because it removes your alibis. And here's what makes honesty so difficult. The mind is designed to protect you, not improve you. It will rationalize comfort. It will defend habits. It will reframe avoidance as wisdom. Ruthless honesty interrupts that pattern. It says, this habit is costing me momentum. This relationship is keeping me small. This routine no longer serves the future I claim to want. And when you see that clearly, you can't unsee it. That's when change becomes inevitable. Because once you're honest, staying the same becomes more painful than growing. Growth doesn't require motivation. It requires alignment. When your actions match your goals, progress feels natural. When they don't, friction appears. Honesty reveals where you're misaligned. It shows you where your words don't match your calendar, where your intentions don't match your behavior, where your dreams don't match your daily standards. And here's the reward for ruthless honesty: self-trust. Every time you tell yourself the truth and act on it, confidence increases. Not confidence from hype, confidence from evidence. You stop needing validation because you know where you stand. You stop pretending because pretending is exhausting. You stop repeating cycles because you find, oh, well, I understand them. Growth accelerates when excuses disappear, and excuses don't disappear through motivation. They disappear through honesty. So if you want to grow, don't ask for easier conditions, ask for clearer vision. Don't ask, how can I feel better? Ask, what am I avoiding telling myself? Because the truth you're unwilling to face is usually the door to the next level of your life. And the moment you choose ruthless honesty over comfortable illusion, growth stops being optional. It becomes inevitable. Every boundary you don't enforce becomes a lesson, not a lesson you intended to teach, but one people learn anyway. Human behavior is shaped less by what you say and more by what you allow. You can explain yourself all day, but tolerance is the real language. When you tolerate disrespect, you teach people disrespect is acceptable. When you tolerate inconsistency, you teach people your standards are flexible. When you tolerate being undervalued, you teach people your value is negotiable. And the most dangerous part, this teaching happens silently. People don't wake up trying to mistreat you. They respond to the rules or lack of rules you establish through your actions. Every time you ignore what bothers you, something inside you takes note. Every time you let something slide just this once, the standard drops, and standards, once lowered, don't rise on their own. Most people confuse boundaries with confrontation. They think setting limits requires aggression or conflict. It doesn't. Boundaries are not about controlling others. They are about controlling access to you. The absence of boundaries is often mistaken for kindness, but kindness without self-respect turns into self-betrayal. You start explaining instead of enforcing. You start hoping instead of correcting. You start resenting instead of respecting. And resentment is a signal that something has been tolerated too long. What you tolerate doesn't just teach others. It trains you. It trains you to accept less than you deserve. It trains you to shrink your expectations. It trains you to stay quiet to keep peace. But peace built on silence is fragile. Eventually it collapses into frustration. People rise or fall to the standards around them. If you don't set clear standards, people will create their own, usually at your expense. Here's the truth. Most people avoid. People will treat you as well as you require them to, not as well as you hope, not as well as you explain, as well as you enforce. And enforcement doesn't always mean confrontation. Sometimes it means withdrawal. Sometimes it means consequences. Sometimes it means changing access. You don't need to announce your boundaries. Your actions will introduce them for you. The moment you stop responding to disrespect, disrespect loses power. The moment you stop rewarding inconsistency, consistency improves. The moment you stop overgiving, balance returns. But here's where courage is required. When you raise your standards, some people will fall away. Not because you changed, but because the old version of you was easier to take advantage of. And that's not loss, that's alignment. Your time, energy, and attention are assets. Anything valuable requires protection. If you don't guard them, others will consume them without intention or awareness. Strong boundaries don't make you selfish. They make you sustainable. They teach others how to engage with you. They teach you how to respect yourself. And once self-respect is established, external respect follows naturally. So pay attention to what you're tolerating, not what you say you want, what you allow. Because what you tolerate today becomes your normal tomorrow, and your normal determines your future. The moment you stop tolerating what diminishes you, you start teaching the world how to treat you at your true value. Whether you realize it or not, you are being programmed every single day. Not occasionally, not accidentally, constantly. Your environment is teaching you what to expect, what to accept, and what to believe is possible. And the most dangerous part is that this programming feels normal. You don't wake up and decide what kind of thoughts you'll have. Your surroundings suggest them before you're aware of it. The people you're around normalize certain behaviors. The conversations you hear shape what you consider realistic. The spaces you spend time in silently influence how you think, act, and dream. Environment is not background noise. It's the operating system. If everyone around you complains, complaining feels justified. If mediocrity is common, excellence feels extreme. If ambition is mocked, playing small feels safe. That's not weakness. That's conditioning. Most people try to change their lives by changing their mindset, but mindset is reinforced or rejected by environment. You can be motivated for an hour and undone by your surroundings in a day. Your environment doesn't just affect your behavior, it shapes your identity. You begin to speak like the people around you. You adopt their pace, their priorities, their limits. Eventually, their standards become yours, and standards are destiny. This is why willpower eventually fails. You're fighting systems stronger than your intentions. The room you work in affects how deeply you think. The content you consume affects how boldly you act. The people you listen to affect what you believe you deserve. Even clutter is communication. It tells your mind that chaos is acceptable. Even noise is instruction. It trains your focus to fracture. And the longer you stay in an environment, the more invisible its influence becomes. That's why people stay stuck and say, I don't know why I'm not progressing. They don't see the code running in the background. Your environment rewards certain behaviors and punishes others. If distraction is rewarded with comfort, you repeat it. If discipline is punished with isolation, you avoid it. Over time, these rewards and punishments shape your choices without asking permission. Here's the truth. You will eventually become a reflection of what surrounds you. Not because you chose it consciously, but because repetition is persuasive. Change your environment and your behavior follows naturally. Change your behavior without changing your environment and you rely on exhaustion. This doesn't mean you blame your environment. It means you design it. You choose what you see first in the morning. You choose what voices fill your ears. You choose which spaces get your best energy. And when you change those inputs, the output of your life changes. Progress accelerates when your environment supports your goals instead of resisting them. Growth becomes easier when excellence is normal. Discipline becomes natural when it's reinforced. Focus becomes possible when distractions are removed. You don't need more motivation. You need better surroundings. Your future is not just built by decisions. It's built by design. So audit your environment, not just your physical space, but your digital space, your social space, your mental space. Ask yourself what it's teaching you every day, because whatever you allow to surround you long enough will eventually shape who you become. And when you intentionally design your environment, you stop being programmed by default and start living by design. Most people think their life will rise to the level of F their goals. They believe if they just dream big enough, visualize hard enough, or want it badly enough, everything will eventually align. But goals don't pull you forward. Standards pull you down or lift you up. In moments of pressure, fatigue, and distraction, you don't default to what you want, you default to what you tolerate. Goals live in the future. Standards live in the present. And when the future collides with the present always wins. That's why people set powerful goals in January and repeat the same results by December. The goal was high, but the standard stayed low. A goal says, I want to be successful. A standard says, this is how I work when no one is watching. A goal says, I want to be disciplined. The standard says, this is what I do even when I'm tired. Pressure doesn't reveal your potential. It reveals your standards. When life gets uncomfortable, you don't ask, what do I want? You ask unconsciously, what do I usually do? And usually determines outcomes. Standards are the rules you live by without thinking. They are the non-negotiables you obey automatically. If your standard is convenience, discomfort feels unbearable. If your standard is excellence, mediocrity feels painful. You don't accidentally live below your potential. You live at the level you've normalized. That's why raising your standards feels uncomfortable at first. You're breaking agreements you made with your old self. Agreements like, I'll do it tomorrow, this is good enough, I don't need to push today. These agreements feel harmless in the moment. Over time, they become identity, and identity is powerful. You don't need to obsess over your goals daily. You need to enforce your standards hourly, because consistency is not built on motivation. It's built on rules. Rules remove negotiation. Negotiation invites excuses. When standards are clear, decisions become easy. There's no debate. There's no emotional bargaining. You either meet the standard or you don't. And here's the key. Your environment and habits reveal your real standards, not your words. What you allow repeatedly is what you've accepted as normal. What you walk past is what you approve of. If chaos surrounds you, chaos is your standard. If distraction dominates your day, distraction is your standard. If average effort feels acceptable, average results are guaranteed. Raising your standards doesn't mean becoming extreme. It means becoming intentional. Ian's deciding in advance how you operate under pressure. It means choosing discipline before motivation is required. Standards create alignment between who you want to be and how you live now. When standards rise, behavior rises automatically. When behavior rises, results follow naturally. Goals inspire. Standards transform. So stop asking if your goals are big enough. Ask if your standards are high enough. Because when life challenges you, and it will, you won't rise to the vision you once wrote down. You will fall to the level of discipline, focus, and integrity you've practiced every single day. And if you raise that level now, your future won't require hope. It will follow inevitably. Let me leave you with this. The year 2026 is not waiting for a better version of you. It's responding to the standards you choose today. You don't transform your life by wishing harder, planning longer, or hustling louder. You transform it by cutting what no longer belongs and raising what you will no longer tolerate. Every excuse you release creates space for execution. Every distraction you remove returns focus. Every standard you raise rewrites your future. This isn't about becoming someone new. It's about finally becoming who you've been avoiding. Decide today what ends here. Decide today what no longer gets access to your time, your energy, your attention, or your potential. Because the moment you stop making compromises with your discipline, life stops negotiating with your results. 2026 will not be different by accident. It will be different by decision. And the decisions you make now, the things you cut, the standards you set, the focus you protect, will quietly determine whether this is just another year or the year everything finally changes.